morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and what I got for you today is a neat new quadcopter. It's a GPS quadcopter. This is the JJPRO HAX 3 from JJRC slash probably Wiley Toys. So what do we got here? Again, it is a Wi-Fi FPV flyer, Wi-Fi FPV GPS flyer, since I got my phone here. Now the thing about this is, it is a 5.8 gigahertz, or 5G 802.11 AC Wi-Fi flyer. You are going to need to have an 802.11 AC Wi-Fi capable phone. This will not work with 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi phones, unfortunately. So you're going to probably need a newer phone to fly this. These are coming out more and more, folks. You're just going to have to live with it. And it actually is a good idea to do such, what they're doing here using the 5G phones. And the reason being, if you're operating on 5 gigahertz band instead of the 2.4 gigahertz band, which is controlling the quadcopter, you can get farther ranges. You don't have any interference between the two. These cheap Wi-Fi FPV flyers that operate on 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi that you see in the toy grade, those interfere with each other, and as a result, they only fly out to about 40-50 meters before you lose FPV reception and control of the quadcopter. This thing is supposedly able to go out hundreds of meters, both for control of the quadcopter along with reception of FPV. And that's again because we're operating on two different frequencies. But the bad side of that is not everybody has a newer phone yet with 802.11 AC. Let's go over the quadcopter. Looking at this thing is somewhat similar to other quadcopters out there, namely, let's put them up and show them, the Hubsan 500 series, H500 series. Very similar looking, except a bit smaller, about 2/3 the size of the Hubsan H500 series. And the other competitor is, of course, the Bugs 2. Very similar to that too, somewhat similar to that in design, but again about 2/3 the size of both of those. So this is, again, Wiley Toys JJPRO's competition in that market. In the what I like to call these are GPS Explorer drones. So this is JJPRO's entry into that competition, into that market. Looking at the quadcopter, it has on-off switch on top here. Where did I put my cheat sheet? So I can talk about other things like its battery. It has a 1080p camera. Again, this transmits its FPV video to your phone via 5G Wi-Fi. We'll see how well that actually works here in flight, because I'm going to record also, because this also, let me pull the camera out and show you it. It's removable, and it has a slot, an SD card slot for including your microSD card, so you can record directly to a microSD card. This also records simultaneously to your phone, the 5G Wi-Fi video, FPV video, to your phone. So you got two sources of video after your flight, either the one that's recorded to your card or the one recorded to your phone. Both of them should be in 1080p, and it does record in 1080p to your phone. I was kind of surprised at that. Other things on it, it does have a 7.4 volt, 2000 milliampere hour battery. This is it. I'm not going to get it out right now because it does require a lot of, wait there, I got it. This is it, folks. It is a proprietary battery, of course. It's 2000 milliampere hour, 7.4 volts. High performance battery, it says. But we'll put it in and see how much flight time it actually gives us. So that's the battery for it. Now, let's go over the controller, the heart of this system. Now, there are other competitors to this. Actually, they're not competitors. They're probably the same company. Wiley Toys under different brands, like Ghoul RC G1 Binge 1, and there's even the Eachine X1 that are coming out. They look to be the same quadcopter. They probably are the same quadcopter, just produced by different subsidiaries of Wiley. The thing is, though, one of them is advertising that it has dual GPS, and I'm not sure what that means, and I think it might mean it has better GPS than this one, and I'm going to discuss that here shortly. But let's go over the controller before we talk about the GPS. This is its controller. You got a button up here to select headless mode all the way up, GPS center position, and return to home all the way down. You have pitch roll sticks. You do a compass calibration by bringing this stick down and this stick up and to the right. We're going to do that before our first flight. And you start the motors by bringing the sticks down and inboard, and stop them by bringing them down and out, or bringing the throttle down and holding it down. The buttons on the left, this is photo, this is for start and stopping video, this is for changing the rates. Once you have the motor started, you can do automatic takeoff by pressing this button here. You can do automatic landing by pressing this button here. And it does have headless mode by pressing this button here. Now it also has an automatic fence, beginner's fence, which limits the range that the quadcopter can fly out to 300 meters horizontally and 100 meters in altitude. That's a pretty long distance, folks. I'm going to leave the fence on in my case because I don't want to fly farther than 300 meters today. But you can fly farther, and you can turn off that fence by wiggling this switch back and forth until you hear a beep, a long beep, to tell you the fence is turned off, and then there's no restriction at all. So that fence can be turned off. But by default, when you turn on the transmitter, the fence is on to restrict your distance to 300 meters. And I think that is a good idea. In case you do lose this, you know your quadcopter is going to be within 300 meters down the last direction that you saw it. So if you turn off the fence, all bets are off. Okay, let's go for a flight of this thing and see how it performs. First off, we got to calibrate its gyros, and I'm going to show you how to do that. We are going to turn on the transmitter and turn on the quadcopter. And while it's turning on, I want to discuss the first time that I tried this at home to get satellites. It took me a good 15 minutes of letting this sit out in my backyard before I had satellite lock on. I thought it was still in China, in effect. So keep that in mind. The first time that you turn this on, it may take a long time to acquire satellites. But after it gets its first lock on with satellites, it will know that it's no longer in China, and then future lock-ons of the satellite system should be a lot quicker. Like right now, do I got any locked on at all? I'm still at 0. So that's one of the issues about this particular quadcopter is it takes some time to get lock on of the satellites. You know, it's similar to the old CX-20, which took forever to get satellite lock on. So I'm thinking that the dual GPS versions might be a little bit quicker than the lock on that I'm getting with this. Okay, while we're waiting for satellite lock on, I'm going to do the compass calibration by moving this stick up and this stick down to the left and waiting a few seconds. And then I'm going to check the lights. And for compass calibration, I'm looking for a blue flashing light. And do I see that? I'm not seeing. Got a blue steady light. Is that supposed to be flashing, or I just got a blue light on the front and no light in the back? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to rotate it clockwise. Until I get a green light. And now I'm going to do it vertically. Rotate it. Actually clockwise, like I did the other one. Green light is on. Let's try the other direction. Let's try nose up. And now I got no lights. Oh, they're flashing. So I guess that's it. Both of them are flashing. So that's the compass calibration. That took some time to get that. And we're still waiting for gyro lock on, or GPS lock on. Okay, it's 5 minutes later. It took about 5-6 minutes there to get sufficient satellites to take off. And right now we got 8 satellites. So keep that in mind, folks. This one takes a while to get the satellites. But we still got sufficient power to fly. I've seen 99%. Now, the app that you're seeing here is the JJRC app. I did not get this from Google Play. The version that's on Google Play right now as of this date, which is December 15th, 2017, is not updated yet and does not recognize that drone, okay, the Wi-Fi from that drone. You are going to need to download the JJRC app from the alternate China website for the Android version, unfortunately, okay. The Google Play version is not ready yet for this particular drone. You got to go, again, to China to get it from the China website. That's included in your instruction booklet. Okay, so let's take off. I am going to select GPS mode. We're going to take off in GPS mode. And I'm going to start the video also by actually, let's hit connect so we can see the FPV video. And there's our FPV video. Now again, if you use the Google Play version, you will not see any FPV video. That's telling you got the old version of the app. Okay, so starting the video recording by pressing this button here. And I look at the app and I see that we are recording. So we're recording both to the phone and also to the SD card. And then starting the motors by bringing down an inboard. And then hitting takeoff. And first off, I want to see how stable our flight is. Our GPS lock. And it's not the best GPS lock, but it's not doing toilet bowl, but it does wander a bit. And we got a little bit of a breeze here. I'm not going to take off just yet, folks. I want to make sure it doesn't go very far. But again, I was flying this at home, and it does wander a bit. I got to admit, it does wander a bit. So, it's not the best GPS lock that this thing gives. But I want to say, first off, how you like my shirt today, folks? Got to include that in all my flights. Okay, so we look good enough to go here. I'm going to increase the altitude a bit, go up a bit higher. And then push outboard. Let's go down this way today. Down toward the road. I'm pushing straight forward, and it appears to be going a little bit diagonally. Let's go up a little bit higher so I can still see it both on my screen and in the air. Got a little bit of clouds off in that direction today. I'm going to turn to the left now. Going up higher. Higher, higher. And we'll go out until we hit that fence. And I think we've hit the fence. And what's it do when it hits the fence? Looks like it's doing a return to home. You hit that geofence 300 meters out, and it comes back home to you. So keep that in mind. I let go of the sticks. I'm going to let it do its return to home from over there. So let's see how accurate its return to home is. So yeah, that's the geofence. And again, I think that is a good idea, folks. Keep it turned on. Unless you really know what you're doing, I would keep it turned on. Especially you beginner flyers that are getting this for Christmas. Don't turn off that fence. Because if you do get way out there and you lose sight of it, it'll come home to you. Which is good. Let's see how accurate its return to home is from up there. I gotta tilt my head way back here. Again, I'm doing nothing. I just flew it out until I hit 300 meters. And then it comes home on its own. Coming down. Well, it looks like we are off about 2 meters. 1.5, 2 meters. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Let's see if we can stop that. Yeah, all I did was recycle this. I put it back in GPS. It's staying in altitude hold mode. So if you recycle GPS and go to altitude, look, this is altitude hold. This is GPS. So going back to GPS does not automatically go into GPS mode, folks. You're probably going to have to start off from a takeoff to get it in GPS mode because it stays in altitude hold. So let's do a landing and do another takeoff. Land. And we'll do an automatic landing in altitude hold mode. You're going to have to manually bring it down. That's fine. Okay. Let's go back to GPS mode. And actually, I want to stop that video that I just did. Stopping the video. and starting the motor. How much power do we got left? Now we do have a lot of power left over, 81%, and we do have a lot of telemetry, folks. I forgot to mention that. We got altitude, and we got distance, and we also have speed. Three parameters listed here, along with power of the transmitter and power of the GPS, or power of the quadcopter. And I still got a lot of leftover power here. And also I'm setting a high rate for this flight. So we are in GPS mode and starting the motors. Starting the video one more time. Hitting takeoff. Or actually holding the button down for takeoff. Does it hold its position or does it drift? Yeah, it's holding its position. So again, you know, if you go to altitude hold, folks, and then switch back to GPS, it does not go back to GPS. It stays in altitude hold. So be careful with that. That could be an issue for some people. Let's fly off in that direction now. Let's see if I can. Sun's over here. We'll go off in that direction. We'll do a low flight this time over the bushes, not to about 300 meters. See if I can go to the other end of the gully, in effect. I'm trying to maintain visual on it. Going over to the other end of the gully, Gully G. Going up higher, let's plop it there. I don't know where it's going there. It's wobbling all over the place over there, folks. Can we do a return to home? Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do a return to home. Let's go up a bit higher, too, so I can see it. Actually, I can't see it over there. Come down a bit lower. Return to home. Let's see where it goes. It was wobbling, folks. It was doing a lot of wobble over there, which tells me this probably needs some compass calibration. And I hope that's not going to be an issue with this return to home. And that wobble is also can be caused if you fly too quickly with a poor GPS system. That is another issue too. So maybe I should be flying in lower rate instead of high rate. If you're going to fly in high rate, probably you want to limit that with this particular quadcopter to altitude hold flying. And if you're going to fly in high rate, you probably, again, altitude hold flying, but if you're going to fly GPS, you probably want to fly in low rate. Because what happens, and I find this to be true on the Hubsons, if you have a GPS system that's not very accurate, again, this one doesn't seem to have the best GPS in the world, you can get ahead of the GPS. And GPS can become confused if you fly too quickly with those GPS systems that are not the best. Now, the Bugs series, the Bugs 2W has an excellent GPS system, and you can fly very rapidly. But again, like the Hubsons, you have to fly more or less in low rate, or else you can't get toilet bowl effect. I restarted the quadcopter, and surprisingly enough, it grabbed onto the satellites right away. Now we got 14 satellites. Let's start the motors. Down and in. And start the video. So again, I rebooted the quadcopter. Come on, video. Now the video doesn't want to start. Okay, let's try the video camera up here. Okay, we were recording there. And I think we're ready to take off. Again, I want to go to low rate. Make sure I'm in low rate. Low rate. Hitting takeoff. Checking its stability, checking battery power left. We have 71% battery power left, surprisingly. Let's go up the road this time. Probably going to get some propeller flicker as we go up the road here, but I do want to go up the road. I want to go nice and slow this time, not really fast. Going up a little higher too, so I don't hit the bushes on the way, because the elevation actually rises gradually as we go up this way. Yeah, let's plop it there and see if we got any weird gyrations. And it looks like we got toilet bowl out there, so, and I did calibrate that thing, but let let's let it sit and see if it stabilizes. Seems to be stabilizing a bit before we proceed any further. Pushing forward, going this way now. So, you know, I am seeing toilet bowl. And starting to swerve to the right, and I'm pushing forward, so I'm going to stop there again. Going up higher. Seeing a lot of toilet bowl. So right about there, I'm going to wait until it stabilizes a bit. I'm going to do the return to home one more time. It's stabilizing a bit, and then hitting return to home to let it bring it back. You know, I don't know what to say, folks. You know, I've done the gyro calibration several times here, but each time, you know, when I go out, the first flight went well, but these follow-on flights here, I'm seeing a lot of toilet bowl. So the only thing I could do is one more time. I am going to try to calibrate the gyros after it lands here and see if that helps it. Not the gyros, calibrate the compass, see if that helps it. Doesn't seem to have a problem coming back home though, I'll tell you that. It's just going out. It seems to have a problem. But let's let it bring itself back down again. I'm way up there. And then we'll calibrate the compass. And this I'm running out of battery power on my camera on my head, so I am going to do this compass calibration off screen. I'm not going to record it because I don't want to bore you guys either. But if I have any problems, you know, or any differences in the previous compass calibrations, I'll mention it. But again, not too bad of a return to home. It's just getting toilet bowl effect. So hold on. Okay, I recycled power. Let's see if that helps. Okay, we got motor start that time. Starting the video. Well, let's try it here. Start it there. And doing takeoff. And there's one thing I haven't done yet. Let me stop that video for a second. Let's see how well it's holding its position. I'm going back out in front of the camera again one more time here. Show my nice shirt. I haven't tried the photos yet. I hope it's taking photos. Okay, that's enough photos. I just want to see if it works. Let's come get a little bit closer. Come on, take a photo. There we go. One more. Okay, starting the video one more time. Okay, this time, which direction are we going to go? Let's go down that way. We haven't gone down this way yet. And we'll stay low and slow. Now again, what I did was, I did a compass calibration. I think it took. We'll find out here shortly. I'm pushing forward and it's not going diagonally like it was before. So I'm thinking the compass calibration did work. We're going to find out here shortly as I'm going to stop it right there and see if it holds its position. And it appears to be holding its position. So I think that was a problem. I think the compass calibrations that I gave it were not very accurate, or were not proper. How much power? Oh, I got 22% power left, so I'm not going to go very... Oh, there. Doesn't matter. It made its own choice. I got 22% power left, and it's saying, okay, no more. I'm coming home. And it's beeping on its own. So it does come home on low battery. We found that out just now. So the issues on this, yeah, the GPS system is not the most accurate in the world. It's like they took it from the Cheerson's CX-20. Those of you who remember that. And on top of that, you really got to get a good compass calibration. Otherwise, it is going to go wonky on you as you go outbound, especially if you go outbound fast. So make sure that your compass calibration is good. And the way to know that it's good is when you push forward on the stick and head outbound. If it's going diagonally instead of going straight ahead, redo that compass calibration. It's off. And look how accurate we are today. It's closer to 2.5, 3 meters now. So, and you know, the lock on of those GPSs, those satellites, took quite a long while. Let me stop the video here. So that's my thoughts on this thing. It, as a competitor to the others, I don't know. We'll find out here. Let me turn off the transmitter here. We'll find out in post-production here how well its video is. So this is, let me record one more time here. And get in the sunlight and say, point the camera up. This is Quadcopter 101. Hope you enjoyed this flight. Quadcopter 101, signing out.